Sure thing.
Hello.
Hey.
Let me see how to get the video.
There you go.
There we are.
You hear us?
I can hear you.
Cool.
Can you see us?
I can see you perfectly.
Okay, cool. Do you remember us in high school?
I do.
Nice. Nice. All right, well, do you want to just get right to it?
We can.
All right, sweet. Okay, so we've never done anything like this before, so we're just going to see how.
Yeah, we've been wanting to do this a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always been infatuated with the film Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Underrated film. And today for the first time,
Yeah.
we brought in a vampire.
Hello.
Awesome. All right, so we got a few questions. So what got you interested in this culture of vampirism?
So it probably starts a little bit like most people, not feeling like you fit in anywhere. And also, I grew up with Blade and Underworld.
Yes.
So I kind of like took that to a personal level, and I was like, I like that style. And so I decided, you know what? One day I put in some teeth and I was like, this feels right.
Hell yes.
That's great. So from the research I gathered, real life vampires aren't as frightening as what you like read in the books or movies. What do you think? Why do you think that is? And why do you think they keep to themselves?
I think most of the culture around vampirism it was based off of folklore for thousands of years. And so what do 1,000-year-old legends say? They say the sea monsters are frightening. They say everything is terrifying because they don't understand it. And since culture has recently started more accepting the ideas of being different, vampirism isn't as scary, but we keep to ourselves mostly because we don't want to be labeled crazy or weird or some sort of thing like that.
Yeah. Okay. Is there some type of like higher being that real vampires worship or look up to?
It depends on your coven. Basically, we don't really worship or look up to anybody except for the elders.
Right.
Okay. Wait, what does that mean? Who are the elders?
So the elders are the vampires that have been around for years, practicing vampirism, helping other people understand and educate what it is. And they also host really great parties.
Nice.
Wow, support our veterans. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trying to relate this to, everyday life kind of things.
Right.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah.
Wait, first off,
okay.
how do we got a little setup right here. We got Count Dracula. then we got everyone's favorite, Jesus.
Yeah.
What do vampires think about Jesus?
So there are actually some vampires that are Christian. So it's not completely unheard of. It's just a little different. Most of us are atheists. We don't really believe in Jesus.
Right. Okay.
But we're not gonna burn at the side of a cross or anything.
Right. Well, like I said, like real life, what I've read and watched, like they're more friendly in real life than they are, in the movies where they're like, trying to kill people.
Yeah.
So,
well, first before I've got these off the wall questions.
All right.
You talked about being a fan of the movies Blade.
mm-hmm.
Have you ever? And you talked about the elders holding these vampire parties. Do we ever see anything like at the beginning of Blade?
You
where
do,
it's like
actually.
a nightclub and then there's a sprinkler system?
Yep.
Have you been to something like that?
Probably not as crazy, but yes, I have.
Interesting.
I've always thought that was a badass scene.
Best
Yes.
Literally. All right, so why do vampires dress the way they do? All black, goth.
I think it has to do with the gothic subculture, basically, because vampirism took its form from gothic culture at first. And so then they just kind of adapted it. You can find Victorian goth vampires, you can find completely all leather gothic vampires, or you can just find the ones that dress in all black.
Right. So obviously you consider yourself a vampire?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So do you have your own following or group of vampires you associate yourself with? Do you guys call yourself like a cult or a coven?
You can kind of say cult, but we prefer coven because it sounds less
Yeah.
stigmatized.
Right.
But yes, I do actually have a form of a coven, and there is an elder that we do actually do some meetings with every now and again. Mostly they're in the cooler weather, or they're in some place that's a little bit more secluded. Yeah. So you won't find us like in a nightclub or anything going around saying,
yeah. That might scare some folk. Yeah. So is it like a secret society, almost like a Freemason kind of club deal? Like
it kind of is, yes, because they will find you actually. Right. So you don't go out seeking it; they will find you.
You didn't go out and seek this.
No. So I just decided I was going to be a vampire. I didn't think anything of it, and then all of a sudden, I started getting like these people in my DMs because I started a TikTok about it. Okay. And I got with my DMs that were like, "Hey, so are you a part of like any kind of clan or coven?" And I was like, "No, I've basically been doing this free reign." And that's how I got invitations to join other covens.
Wow. So it's like they sensed you were ready to become one of them.
Pretty much.
Wow.
They do kind of keep an eye on people.
Yeah.
How do they do that?
Well, social media has made it extremely easy.
Yeah.
And then there's just random everyday occurrences where you could just meet somebody on the street. And it's kind of like a secret hush-hush spy deal of, here's a piece of paper, meet us at this place this time.
Yeah.
That is insane.
So, like, what do you do in order to, like, get into the coven?
You have to go through a series of tests. The first test being actually trusting them to go to that meeting place. Mm-hmm. Then once you do that, you do have to drink animal blood at the first sight. Ooh. So that's pretty much your basic initiation, right? Like, can you stomach drinking this blood, or are you just one of those that think Twilight's cool?
Right. You got to distinguish the real from the fake.
You got to be in the real shit.
Yeah, you got to be in the real shit. That's awesome.
Well, that was kind of like my next question. The blood drinking, what is your take on that? Is it more of like I put like a sexual element to the culture, or is it something someone must do in order to become a vampire? Or is it both?
It could be both. It could definitely be both. I do know some vampires that do get male donors or female donors, and they have to go through like a series of like STD testing and all that to make sure they're clean, they're safe to drink from. They'll drink from them. Wow. I eat raw beef, and I get my blood from raw beef, basically. So there's different forms of it. You can either go full out, drink human blood, or you can just keep it a little bit more mellow.
Have you ever done human blood?
I have.
Interesting.
How was that? How was
It's
that?
it's very coppery. It almost tastes like you're drinking a penny.
Yes. Yes. Wait. Well, how did you go about consuming human blood? Did you take a yank out of someone's neck? Did they have it in a shot glass?
So it was my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, "Hey, would you be okay with this?" And they were like, "Sure, I don't see a problem with it." And I bit the wrist, actually, because biting the neck is a little bit tricky.
Yeah,
because you do have the main arteries. So I did want to bite one of those or kill him somehow.
Not at all.
And so I did. I took a little bite from his wrist, and I was like, you know what? This tastes gross.
Yeah.
Now, was he part of like this culture, or like what was his take on it?
He was very vanilla, so he didn't really see why I partaked in that culture. So at first he was like, "Oh, okay. Are you just dressing up? Like, why are you doing this? Are you just doing it for like videos or for attention?" I was like, "No, it's neither." And he basically just dismissed the whole thing.
Right. Well, how often do you wear the fangs?
So it depends on how I'm feeling. Mostly every day. Other times it could be like there's 1 or 2 days where I don't wear them.
You ever get like comments out in like restaurants? Or
I get more people that look at me. It just their jaws are dropped. They just look at me like, "Oh my, like what am I seeing?"
Right. Well, I mean, you see, I guess modern day people are more accepting with, eccentric type, people. So is it always like that?
There's some people that just kind of dismiss it. Then there's other people that are like, "You need Jesus" or something.
Yeah, right.
But I do feel like more people are becoming more and more accepting of different forms of culture.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you ever plan on coming back to your hometown?
I don't know. I've thought about it, but also I have nothing there. So
Okay. Because I was about to ask, would you ever come into the podcast studio to do another interview?
I mean, I could do that, definitely.
All right.
It would be about an 8-hour drive, but
that's a long drive.
yes.
Yeah. So we have some fan questions.
All right.
And they're kind of ridiculous.
Well, we have a ridiculous fan base.
Yeah.
This is a reflection of them, a direct reflection of them.
Yes, not us.
Yeah, certainly.
Do you like breadsticks at Olive Garden?
Because of the garlic.
Yeah.
I do love breadsticks, actually. And you dip it in the Italian sauce on the salad, yeah.
What's up with the garlic in vampires? Is that like a mechanism in the films to stop them?
It pretty much is. So I've never personally had a problem with garlic. I know a few others that they love garlic. It was a myth a long time ago from, I think, Slovakian culture. They would put out a string of garlic every night to make sure that the vampires don't come into your house and eat your children, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. I know, because I read the Dracula novel, and I can't remember the character's name or whatever, but she was bitten, and Van Helsing would wrap garlic over her neck and keep her in bed, and over time that would like bring her back to humanity, I guess.
Mortality.
Yeah.
More mortality. And that's just part of the vampire.
How do vampires
folklore.
feel about Dracula?
Yeah.
Because we talked about Jesus earlier being like the figurehead of a whole entire religion. Like, what is Dracula's role in vampirism?
So Dracula actually is commonly looked up to within vampire culture as being one of the more accurate forms of vampirism. It also goes for Nosferatu. That is actually a very accurate form of vampirism as well. So they're kind of like our idols, if you would say.
Right.
So Dracula's like the Dr. King of vampirism.
Yeah.
He had a dream that we would be free.
Yes.
Bye. Okay, here's another one. Do werewolves and vampires coexist?
Actually, there are a lot of lycanthropes that do actually partake in the vampire culture as well. There's some hybrids. There's lycans that actually hate us. They will not associate with you in any form or way if you are a vampire. And then there's other clans of lycanthrope that actually do like to, mingle, go to parties with you.
Wow.
So it depends on what clan you get into.
Now, how many clans are there? Like vampires, werewolves? What could be like an other, clan or folklore type thing that people still do?
So don't really know what they still do, but they definitely still partake in blood drinking. There are Elizabeth Bathory things where there's extreme forms of blood baths.
Whoa.
Mostly from bleeding animals, and you bathe in the blood.
Have you ever done that?
No, I find that very disgusting.
Right.
As do I, as a neutral.
All right. Oh, and what is your take on vampire films? Do they represent vampires well, bad?
We're talking about major films, the Twilight, the Blade, the Dracula.
I would say they represent vampirism in a negative light because they see us as these people that are just out to kill.
Yeah,
that we're just gonna go out and kill.
Yeah, the villains.
Yeah.
What else do you got?
I'm just spitballing.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in this.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by just about everything she says.
Yeah, I was impressed by how much you know about it.
Yeah.
You talked about, separating the real from the fakes.
Yeah.
I think we got a real one on the show.
We do.
Yeah, we have a real one.
Well, I will also say too, the whole walking in sunlight thing is actually it's a myth. You can see vampires out in the daylight all the time. There might be even people that are vampires that walk past you every day. You just wouldn't know it.
Ooh.
So there is that. It's very lucrative and secretive. Yeah. So they can walk past you and you'll never know.
It's like, yeah, you talked about it being like a secret society. Like, I'm more familiarized with, Freemasonry.
Yeah.
You walk amongst us, and then you'll see like a ring every now and then. You're like, oh,
right.
They know something about something.
So I actually do have a coven ring. Let me find it. It might be downstairs, but I have 2 coven rings.
Really?
So this one, I don't know if you can really see it.
Yeah.
That is a form of like the initiation, that I went through the initiation, that I did the blood drinking. I did a lot of other weird stuff. Mostly the other weird stuff is like touching a cross and doing things that are like almost something you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
There's also a form where you give up like your human way of life. So you have to say like a passage from something, and it's, I give up my entire body, my soul, my spirit. I am no longer human. I am a vampire.
Wow.
Do you ever do it like in a graveyard? Because I read that too, that they, do the ceremony or whatever in a graveyard.
Yes, you actually can do them in a graveyard. You do them next to mostly like a mausoleum of some sort.
Ooh.
You have to have black candles. Most people assume like pentagons and like the pentagrams are bad, but you have to do a whole pentagram, stand in the middle of it, do the initiation rites.
Whoa. That's kind of scary.
I think it's because, like she talked about, the films depict them as, these super villains.
Yeah.
So
we're always, we have a negative thought about vampires.
Yeah, we assume that it's just...
We assume the worst.
Yeah.
And most assume that we all are like satanic and that we worship Satan and we kill babies and stuff like that. Mostly we cut the throat of a goat, but that's about as crazy as we get. We don't kill humans.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not.
So I guess the last fan question, what's your favorite vampire movies?
Underworld.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I love Underworld.
Yeah.
It is actually a closer depiction of like modern vampirism, because we're not out there killing people. There's a coven, there's a group of council for your elders. Everybody stays in check, everybody stays in line. You don't go out killing people, you don't go out killing the lichens, even if you hate them.
Right.
You're very tolerant.
Yeah.
Yes.
This has been enlightening.
It has.
I've enjoyed the hell out of this.
Yes. This might be the best episode.
I will say one little spice of flavor here. Me personally, I have photosensitivity. So it makes the whole vampirism thing a little bit more there. Okay. So if I go out in the sun, I actually get heat blisters. If you put me under UV light, my skin will blister.
Really?
Yes.
So you're a real vampire.
Essentially, yeah. I also cannot wear silver. I have to wear gold. My grandma was like that too.
What?
The silver will actually like cause a black ring or like a form of rash wherever the silver was placed. So it's mostly how they make silver and the compounds in it that your body is allergic to.
Yeah.
So I have to wear gold.
It's like you were meant to be this.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. I went through life thinking that I was just weird because silver would burn me, or I'd go into a tanning bed and my skin would bubble, or I'd go to the beach and I'd get like these massive sunburns. So I was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just weird. I've always liked eating raw beef. So I was like, maybe it's just that I am a weird person.
The things are adding up throughout your life.
Yeah.
That culminates in where we're at right now at this interview. The signs were there.
Yes.
So is there like a goal that you're trying to get to with all this, or have you just found yourself?
I mostly just found myself. Like this is the true me, I feel like. Yeah. I don't feel like I have to pretend. I don't feel like I have to make up something. It's just more comfortable, natural. And I get people that ask me all the time is it easy to talk with these things in?
Yeah.
Because you will see people that are like, I'm trying to put them in and I can't talk right, or they're always falling out. I'm like, I can talk with them. I can eat with them. I can even bite you. My natural teeth that are under these, they're actually sharp and pointy as well.
Really?
So when I was born and I started getting baby teeth, my baby teeth were actually pointed like monster teeth, because the enamel would unravel. So they were monster teeth, and they had to cap them all with silver. And now my adult teeth are actually extremely pointy and sharp, and they never really seemed to dull.
Yeah. So
That's another one.
that's
They
that's
just
another.
point you in this direction.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
With all this being said, you talked about the elders in the vampire community. Do you plan on becoming one of those?
I do.
You're going to see this through.
Yes. And if not an elder, probably a high priestess, which does the initiation rites of new additions to the cult.
Is there any vampires in Virginia? Any vampires like close to where we are at?
I wouldn't say close to where you're at, but there are some in Richmond and Langley. And believe it or not, there's a lot of vampirism that goes around in DC area.
Okay. What about Charlotte? Because I'm going to Charlotte next weekend.
Yeah, I think there is one there too.
Yeah. Okay.
They're usually based in like major cities.
All right. So, you have anything?
I think I'm good. This has been insane.
It's been great. I was amazed by how much, you're really into it.
Like I said, I've spent 10 years doing this. So, and every day I learn something new about it. So I'm just here to share my knowledge.
Well, thank you.
You did that
sharing.
quite well. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
We'll have to do this again, or because I have another podcast where it's a little spooky. So I thought having you on with that as well. But yeah, thanks for taking the time to talk to us about it.
You're welcome. And if there's any other form of occult that you'd like to talk about too, I'm well versed in demonology as well. So
I'm gonna write that down. Yep. Hell yeah.
Yeah. The study of demons. So I do know a thing or two about that as well.
Okay, sweet. Well, I'll get in touch with you with that because I'm fascinated about that as well.
All right. Well, we'll make sure that I don't put any hexes or anything on you to make your house demonically haunted or anything.
Please don't. Please don't. Or please do.
Yeah, I prefer she did.
Yeah.
I prefer she did. Because I'm trying to see some demons.
Yeah. So thank you again, and I'll text you.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. I've actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It was great.
I appreciate it.
You have a great day.
Yes, you're welcome. You too.
See you.